What is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video, and I am so freaking pissed off. This is the Green Bay Packers Beast recap show um for week 4. And I am to say that I'm really pissed off about this game is an understatement. This is a game we should have won. And the game ended in a 40-40 tie. And quite frankly, I am so pissed off. We're going to go through the stats of everything overall that happened, but the ending of this game, and I was just in such distraught for the last half hour just thinking about this, of all the bad things we did in overtime. And some of the stuff really at the end too. There was just so much bad clock management. Once we got inside of the 25-yard line, we moved down the field. We converted a 4th down and 6 to keep the drive alive and keep the game alive. Okay? Right? And we did all that, and we drove down the field, and then once we got to the inside the 25-yard line, we started playing conservative. We started fucking just slowing down, not urgency, not going up tempo, no huddle, fucking going for the win. We had 2 timeouts with a minute 8 left in the game when we were up at 25 yards. And then I see Jordan Love do a quick pass. We lose 2 yards. And then we do another, I'm like, what are we doing? And then at the end of the game, they're doing on 3rd down, no huddle. And you gotta go. And he's not doing that. And then they throw it. Luckily, there was a second left on it, but then you have to kick a field goal now for a tie. And I didn't even care. I just started looking because it didn't matter if it tied, because it doesn't matter if he kicked the field goal because it's a tie. The game is over. Just terrible. But you want to know something else that's even more terrible? You want to really know what something else is terrible about this? Also, before we get... Parsons made a critical sack in overtime that prevented Dak Prescott from getting the touchdown, which would have obviously changed everything. I'd like to think it would have changed everything for how they would move the ball down in the possession in overtime. But you know what? Parsons, he was a disruptor in this game. He only got the sack, and that was his only tackle, right? Which was recorded as a sack. But he was a disruptor. He was being doubled throughout this whole game, and he almost got a fumble at one point. He was definitely contributing to this game. But here's the thing. Here is the fucking thing that I want to bring up that nobody is bringing up about this game, and that is the coin toss for overtime. When Brandon said we're going to kick it because, both teams are guaranteed to possess the ball, I was fuming. And I hated how the commentators tried to say that this was a great fucking decision. No, it fucking wasn't. There's 10 minutes in overtime. It's I don't understand why people think this is a good idea. No, get the fucking ball. Take the ball, get the touchdown. I don't care if they possess the ball. I don't care if they possess the ball second, even if you get a touchdown. You take the ball when you get the fucking coin toss in overtime, because there's only 10 minutes in the overtime period. It's not 15 minutes unless it's the playoffs, okay? Which I think is a stupid rule, by the way. I think they should go back to 15 minutes in overtime. They used to have that until they changed the overtime rules. Once they started changing it to, you had to, get a touchdown to win the game on a coin toss possession, which that's not a rule anymore. But at the time, that's when they started changing the regular season overtime rules to 10 minutes instead of 15. And I hated that at the time. And I still hate it. I've been saying this for years, that they need to go back to 15 minutes. it's not enough time. Because look how long the Cowboys took. They took, like, what, 6 minutes off the game clock? Like, their time of possession for that overtime possession the Cowboys got, where they eventually just ended up getting a field goal, they took fucking 6 minutes off the clock. So the Packers only had 4 minutes and 40 seconds in the game. And I'm not just saying this because it happened in this game. I've been saying this for years, that this needs to be changed. This isn't something that I'm just coming up just because of this game. That is something I have said for a long time that needs to be revisited. 10 minutes is not long enough for an overtime period, especially if it's the only one. In the playoffs, it's 15. It's flat out 15. Okay? Now, obviously, in the playoffs, you keep going until the game is over. But, you go to second overtime, third overtime, whatever. I think there's only been 2 overtimes, though, for playoffs ever when they've gone to overtime. But you get the point. I think that needs to extremely be reevaluated. Okay? It's something I've said for years, and I don't like this mindset. I hated how Chris Collinsworth on commentary was fucking saying that this is the right way to do it. Why? How is it the right way to do it? It's like, here's the innuendo. Here is the innuendo logic, okay, here. Here is the innuendo logic, okay? If you win the coin toss, you receive the ball. If you score a touchdown, okay, and then the other team has a chance to then counter and score a touchdown still. I mean, you might be able to stop them on defense, but if you don't, you score a touchdown, assuming both extra points are good, tie game, right? Guess who gets the ball? The team that won the coin toss, okay? And that's assuming if you don't go the length of the field and take so many minutes off of the game clock that there is enough for a third possession. This is why I don't like that it's not 15 minutes to begin with. I've never liked it. I never liked that they took that away, okay, when they took it away, okay, when they started doing the overtime changed rules, okay, and I still to this day don't like it. And that's just covering the overtime at this point. That's just covering the overtime. That's just something I've been saying for years needs to be reevaluated, and I hope that this kind of does that, or at least gives the conversations about doing it again. But yeah, that I was fuming about that decision when Brandon picked kick. I hate that. I hate how the commentators have said that was a good idea. It's not a good idea, especially if it's an offensive slugfest and it doesn't go defensive mindset way. It's just not, especially if you're going to have your way. Even Collinsworth said, the Cowboys could take the entire 10 minutes, on a possession. I'm like, yeah. So why are we not having it at 15? Okay? Why are we not having it at 15? It's just fucking stupid, man. So that's my rant about the whole overtime. I hated it. I hate, some people are going to be like, well, the Cowboys didn't beat you at least. Man, I don't fucking like having ties, man. I don't fucking like it ending in a tie for my team. Okay, I don't know if you guys like that or whatever. Some people say, oh, well, for playoff standings, it could change things or whatever. But I don't like it ending in a tie, man. I don't get any satisfaction if the team ends in a tie. Like, I don't feel like, oh, well, we didn't lose, but at the same time, we didn't win. So it's like, what's the accomplishment here? You know what I'm saying? That's what I feel like right now. It's like, what is the accomplishment now when it ends in a tie like that? Okay? Jordan Love, 31 attempts for 43 yards, 337 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. He did get 1 sack in this game, so he was a little better on not getting hit and making better decisions from the Browns game. Josh Jacobs was a beast in this game. 22 attempts, 86 yards rushing, 2 rushing touchdowns. Surprisingly, Wilson, 8 attempts, only 8 attempts, but he had 44 yards rushing and definitely was definitely important later in the game. Um, Even when he dropped the ball, we got a roughing hit by the Cowboys that gave us 15 free yards too. Jordan Love himself had 3 attempts for 28 yards. He also got a critical first down on third down as well. Josh Jacobs also had 4 receptions for 71 yards receiving. Romeo Dobbs had a great day. I wish I would have started him on my fantasy team because he got 29 fantasy points. He had 6 receiving passes for 58 yards, but he had 3 touchdowns. It was really good. Matthew Goldman is starting to look really good. He had 5 attempts or 5 receptions, 58 yards. And one of them being that 4th and 6 that kept the drive alive in overtime, kept the game alive. Tucker Kraft got screwed out of a touchdown. There was not enough evidence to overturn that call, but the refs overturned it anyways and fucked my fantasy team. Excuse my French there. 5 attempts for 56 yards. Wilson also had 3 receptions for 37 yards. Williams had 3 receptions for 22 yards. Wicks had 2 receptions for 19 yards. Love did have a fumble, but outside of that, nothing major. There was, the fumble being the only, like I said, the fumble being the only issue, which was kind of an afterthought at the end of the game. But Jordan Love did fumble that ball and lost it right before the half, which was huge at the time because it gave the Cowboys a momentum shift because they got a touchdown a couple plays after that. We didn't do anything right before halftime. When I think we could have done something with 9 seconds left on the 35-yard line, right before half. Walker, had a pretty good day. Tackles for losses. Williams had Walker had 11 tackles. Wilson had 9. Cooper had 7. Hobbs had 7. Obviously Parsons had 1 sack. Which, I don't know. Some people argue that might not have been sacked. Dak Prescott didn't think it was a sack, but it was recorded as sack because it was no gain. But regardless of whether you think it was a sack or a tackle, it doesn't matter because it stopped Dak Prescott from getting a touchdown, which obviously would have changed the game plan completely going to overtime. Maybe that would have been better for the Packers because of how fucking poorly we played. Once we got inside the 25-yard line. Brandon obviously, made the 53-yard straight down the middle tying field goal. And then also made the chip shot one at the end of overtime. So overall, we had a good game. We did very well, I would say, but we didn't win. And that's the most important thing is to win the game. That's the most important thing is to win the game, and we didn't get it done. And Obviously we're now, um, you know, um, obviously when we go next week, we have to once again. We're playing the Bengals next week in Green Bay. We're back home before or I'm sorry, that's the bye. I'm sorry. That's our next game. Next week we're on a bye. We play the Bengals next week. So we are or 2 weeks from now. Sorry, I'm saying it wrong. We play the Bengals 2 weeks from now. We have a bye next week. We're back in Green Bay for that, but man, it's just so deflating because it's like we looked so good, and yet we come off of a game we should have won against the Browns, and now we're in a tie, and now we're in a bye before we go back home. I just don't know how to feel, man. Um, yeah, I just don't know how to feel right now about that performance. Um, it's so tough, man. That's just the way the game, especially the way the game was early on in the first quarter, even towards the end of the first half until we got that fumble. Um, Felt like everything was on us, and then once we got back into the second half, it was just a back and forth battle. And it just didn't feel like we did enough to stop Prescott like we should have. We made a big play in overtime, but at the end of the day, the clock management by Love, I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know what I really questioned the decision making on those last couple of plays. Like what he was trying to do once they got inside the 25-yard line, man. Like you got it. Like once you got inside the 25-yard line, you're already in field goal range. I mean, Brandon can easily kick, from that distance. To me, it's like you got to go to the end zone. You got to try to go for the win. Like, I mean, and there was like a minute 8 left, and like they're going slow. They're taking 20 minutes off of the clock. I'm like, why? This is do or die. You play to win the game, as Herm Edwards used to say. You play to win the game, not fucking play for a tie. Okay? Yeah, if there's no options, but again, they had so much time and they just let the clock run down. Like, I'm like, why are you letting the clock run down when if you get the touchdown, you win the game? If they would have gotten the touchdown there, the game would have been over. The Cowboys would have only possessed the ball again if the Packers were forced to kick a field goal. Okay? That's the only way they get the ball back. Okay? If we go for the end zone on 3 different plays, with the way our team was playing, especially the way Romeo Dobbs was playing and all these other receivers were going open, man, we get the touchdown, the game's over. You're not thinking about a tie. Like, I mean, that's the mindset that needs to be, and I just don't think it was here. And it's very unfortunate because this game, we could have won this game. But yeah, that's my thoughts. I'm out. The final score is unfortunately a tie, 40 all. Comment, rate, if you like this video, my videos, please subscribe. Like, share, all that stuff. And that's about it, guys. I am the SS Ultimate Goku, and I'm out of here. Peace. Also, make sure, besides my YouTube channel, to follow me on the Twitch, the Instagram. I do have a Discord link in the description where we discuss various topics, including this one here. And now I'm out. Peace.